Do you know that in 2016, 66 liters of diesel cost $100? Today, under the P&M, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100. The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the P&M, which directly affects the cost of food, transport, and services. Guess who I'm voting for next time?
Welcome to the United National Congress's Pavement Report. We take this opportunity to thank you for coming out and for all your support. Now, please stand for the national anthem and remain standing for the prayer. Thank you.
Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, highlands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Almighty God, most beneficial and merciful, Creator of the universe and embodiment of divine wisdom and light, we come before you with thanksgiving and praise. May your will be done in our nation as it is in the heavens. Please bless our political leader, party officials, activists, and all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Give us the grace to always see good, be good, and do good, and the courage to serve the people. Protect us as we stand against injustice and iniquity, and inspire our endeavors to find the right solutions to the problems that are affecting our fellow citizens. Grant that we may always work together with humility and respect for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of our country.
Good night, everyone. Good night. Yeah. In the words and guidance of our political leader, we put God in front and we walk behind. It is that way that we'll always have success. Tonight we are at the United National Congress Pavement Report being held at the Debe Secondary School. For those who are on the road journeying here, it is opposite the Namdevco Wholesale Market and opposite the Fun Splash Water Park. We already have a packed hall and a number of people are outside getting in. This is the report where we bring to you the plans and the performance of the United National Congress. We have a battery of high-profile speakers, and we also listen to your plans for us as we prepare to take government under the leadership of the Honorable Kamla Persad Bissessa. Let's hear it for the UNC Pavement Report here in Debe tonight. Co-chairing with me will be Councillor Shanti Budram and Vice Chairman of the Pinal Debe Regional Corporation. I invite Shanti to bring on the first speaker.
Good night, my UNC family. Thank you, Chairman. Welcome to the Pavement Report. Tonight, we must give thanks to our political leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Visesa, and all our members of Parliament for their continued representation to you, the people. However, it cannot be the case for this wicked PNM Rowley Stewart-led government. Imagine, only under this PNM government, it has 2 prime ministers, one young and one old, full of lies, incompetence, and corruption. Same clowns, same circus. I now bring to you your candidate for San Fernando East, John Michael Alibocus, better known as Macmillian in the entertainment world, is currently the councillor for Marabella West. He has lived in San Fernando his entire life and is a business director. Alibocus attended the Pleasantville Junior Secondary School, and he also went on to Naparima College. Mr. Alibocus holds an associate degree in business administration from the University of New Brunswick. He is an event coordinator engaged in event planning and management. Alibocus entered politics in 2023, where he successfully contested the Marabella West seat in the local election on August 14, 2023. To date, he has the distinction of being the first UNC candidate to win this seat in 23 years. He is now the candidate contesting the San Fernando East seat in the upcoming 2025 general elections. Let's put our hands together and welcome the great white, John Michael Alibocus. Love, love, love.
Thank you, Chairman. I would just like to start by giving God the glory for having us here tonight for this pavement report. To the opposition leader, former Prime Minister, and our Prime Minister in waiting, the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Visesa, Senior Council, MPs, Senators, Mayors, Aldermen, Councillors, members of the media, members of the armed forces, and specially invited guests. Good evening. As the prospective UNC candidate for San Fernando East for the 2025 general election, I would just like to tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago and San Fernando East that hope is here. I assure the constituents that I am here to serve you all. Listen to the problems of the constituency and find viable solutions. Coming from a family background of serving my community within San Fernando and the entire country, nationally and internationally, our profound legacy of over 100 years in the business sector speaks for itself. The great Charlie's Black Pudding. I have grown with a father that had great respect and integrity, always helping people that are in need. A man of his word, a great doctor to many in our sweet TNT, Dr. Alibocus. But with great respect to him, that's my daddy, who always instilled in me to be the best that I can be. My mom, that always taught me to help the underprivileged and the people that are in need, teaching me what is unconditional love and to be for your brothers and sisters there, no matter what. Never turn your back. My angel, Gail Alibocus, I love you dearly. I am here to assure San Fernando East that there would be more love in our community. And I am here to bring that change that is in need to the constituents. A humble, approachable, and available individual that is here to serve you, my constituency, to a greater and better community. Focus on Alibocus. With love, we are going to do this together. One nation, one love, one people, one leader. With the help of my constituents, you will be able to make that dream come true and allow me to serve you to the best that I can. To the youths of Trinidad and Tobago, I hear your cries every day that I am on the ground with you all. I can hear you all. Willing to work, but there's no employment. Single mothers fighting to feed their children and being taken advantage of by the system. Senior citizens having problems to get their pension, which is not enough for them to survive. And the unions fighting for better wages for workers to be able to see about their families in this falling economy. But yet still, they must agree to 4%. San Fernando East, I am a youth of love. Give us the Gen Zs a chance to show you all what we can do. Bring new youthful ideas to the forefront, infrastructure and innovative methods to create transparency for you, the constituents, to be comfortable. Educating you all through social media platforms and enlightening you, the constituents, in what is going on in our constituency. I stand here today as a Mughal in entertainment, a politician, an artist, a promoter, a son of San Fernando, growing up in the San Fernando East, living by my grandmother, the Alibocuses, on 58 Ladybird Crescent, Pleasantville, since 1976, which makes it 49 years that the Alibocuses have resided in San Fernando East. Every morning getting up to go to school, attending Pleasantville Junior Sec, Pleasantville Senior Sec, and last but not least, Naparima College. I am here to let you all know that I am an example of success, fighting jealousy, envy, non-believers that wish to see me fall, thinking that I am not sophisticated enough to stand in this position, but yet I am here today. Breaking a record of 23 years with Marbella West being under the PNM in local government, and now the trophy is in our hands, the UNC, for the first time. I am here to let you know that it is the job of God to judge greatness and not man. Render thy hearts and not thy garments. God is real and change is coming. Have faith. Don't give up. Believe in yourself that we can do it. With hard work and persistence, just stay focused. And always remember, love conquers all. I would just like to thank the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC executives for giving me a chance to serve my country as the prospective candidate for San Fernando East in the upcoming 2025 general election. And I am most grateful for this opportunity of greatness, believing in me to be the next MP for San Fernando East. We must look to the east, San Fernando East, where the sun shall rise and good over evil shall prevail. As the councillor of Marbella West and the prospective candidate for San Fernando East, everyone knows my slogan: love, 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 love. And to the words of my great leader, serve the people, serve the people, serve the people. So with that being said, for the 2025 general election, I, the candidate for San Fernando East, John Michael Alibocus, a man of the ground, will be serving the people in love. I give full respect to the great men that have walked this earth in serving the people, that have stamped their pathway. But now the time has come for me to set my own legacy, to walk my own path, and to build my own dynasty of greatness. I would like to thank you all in advance for your unwavering support to me as your next member of parliament for the constituent of San Fernando East. And last but not least, I would just like to remind you all, Trinidad and Tobago, when UNC wins, everybody wins. Good night. God bless. Vote UNC for 2025 general election. Thank you. Love, 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 love.
Let's hear it. Let us hear it for the next member of parliament for San Fernando East, John Michael Alibocus. And I'll take a line from John. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Let's make some noise if we agree with that statement. When UNC wins, everybody wins. John spoke of the vision of UNC, the vision of our leader. And right here in this area, if you look just through the back of you, you will know that a university has been built by the United National Congress. Today, it is in Latro, it is in Bush, under the Visionless People's National Movement. So as we prepare to return to government under the leadership of Kamla Prasad Bisasa, projects like these will get life again, where our children can be educated. It is the United National Congress that had one of the most robust education programs for children. Think how comfortable it would have been for the people of South, San Fernando, La Brea, Santa Flora, to wake up and take their children to the university right here and come back in the afternoon and pick them up. Such a beauty, such a vision. The next speaker is certainly a daughter of the soil, member of parliament for the constituency of Maruga Tableland. She has served effectively 2 terms as a local government councillor in the Hindustan electoral district, and she is a holder of a Bachelor of Science and a diploma with honors. She takes pride in having her own ambitions and aspirations to lift the people of Maruga Tableland. She is known as a servant of the people in Maruga Tableland. Since 2020, MP Benjamin has been shadowing the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, and she has done exceedingly well there in bringing ideas not only to Maruga Tableland, but that will shine throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So without further ado, I ask MP Michelle Benjamin to come to the podium, a daughter of the soil. Let us give her a hearty round of applause. Michelle.
Good night, Debe. You could do better than that. We in an election year. Rowley watching this meeting, we have to make him tremble. Good night. Good night to my honorable political leader. I want to get the pleasantries out of the way because good behavior, I was told, left the door. So I just want to get the pleasantries out. I want to say good night to my political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisasa, and the next Prime Minister. And when you hear that, you have to roar. To the councillors, the activists, the host MP, thank you for inviting us into your den. And to my constituency, Maruga Tableland. Debe, we're going to make some noise there. We're not going to sit down because as I said, we are in an election year. And you know when the UNC win, as the chairman rightfully said, everybody wins. And we have to ensure that the UNC wins this upcoming general election. My UNC family, we have, and I heard the other chair, the chairwoman said, we have two prime ministers, a young one and an old one. But the old ran, how to say, the old bear goat thought he could have bought me yesterday in Parliament to hear the man, but we could deal with he just now. The man said, who are dead? Who dead? But in Trinidad and Tobago, we badly wounded. What has the PNM done for us for the last 9 years? In Trinidad and Tobago, every sector has fallen apart. Debe, am I lying? The chairman just told you that we could have had a brand new university. They did not open that. Look at the state of our schools. I could tell you, anytime you visit a school as a sitting MP, you're getting a list from a principal. MP, you could help me with this. MP, you could help me with that. You could ask the host of this meeting here tonight how much thing he had to repair just to have this meeting here. And that is what we are faced with. This government has wounded every sector. They have wounded every sector in our beautiful country. My UNC family, for the past 9 years, we have suffered. It has been a long and grueling road. But the journey, I want to tell you, it soon come to an end. Just know, as Alibocus said, the light at the end of the tunnel, we could see it. And that is the United National Congress. That is the lighting tower. And we Baptists sing a song. I see Miss Margaret, a newly anointed mother. She could tell you, I see the lighthouse shining in glory. That's what we Baptists sing. I see the lighthouse. Amen. So I'm going to tell you, you have to listen to this meeting. And you have to feel the energy, because victory is ours. Soon the UNC will rise, but we will rise based on your strength and your support. So I didn't come here tonight and to tell you about the roads bad. Every living road in Muruga Tableland is bad. It's in a deplorable state. I could tell you that we were allocated, or they allocated, I should say, over $300 million to the roadways in Muruga Tableland. And I could tell you that my constituents still have to go through potholes. I could tell you that we are still losing homes due to landslips. I could tell you that the roads are the same, but the contractors came and go. So they came, they went, but their pockets, they didn't take care of us. Tonight we are here to put our activists on election notice, as the political leader said. I am here standing on my activist back. I am here to ask you to come out in your numbers. You know when you hear that truck, all battery buying, iron, scrap iron? When you hear that on election morning, I want you to get out and run. It's time. If you know you want this PNM government to go, when you hear that, when election morning come and you hear a UNC car is outside and they're looking for you, you have to run like you're going and sell that scrap iron. Because that is what we want to do. Get rid of this scrap iron government. That is Rowley and Young, this scrap iron government. And as my deputy political leader will say, they all must go. It's not the young one or the old one. They all must go. We don't want no anointed prime minister. We will elect our prime minister, and that is no other than Kamla Prasad Bisesa. I am from Muruga Tableland. I am deeply connected to the hopes and the struggles and the dreams of my constituents. I am Muruga Tableland and proud. Could you imagine yesterday, Rowley asked me, where are you from? I want to tell him that I am from that beautiful constituency where we have resilient and hard-working people that is suffering because you do not fix the roads, the health centers. We do not have a fire station. I am from that constituency. I am from that constituency where you built a 62 million agro-processing facility and it is closed. And going on 2 elections, you're promising pineapple farmers. You know what? We could get kind pineapples in a. I am from that constituency. I am from that constituency that you remember. that a fishing facility was built, but you will only remember it a month before election because you want to politicize it. I am from that constituency. Debe, I heard a reporter ask, I talk about the old one, I heard a reporter ask the young one, but he didn't ask the young one. He asked a PNM supporter, "Are you think young stush?" Debe, what we know stush to be. When somebody stush, that means you can't approach them. All right, MP endorsing? When somebody stush, that means you can't call them. When somebody stush, that means you can't talk to them. And that is every PNM minister. You can't call them, you can't talk to them. But you know who you could call? You could call the elected reps placed by Kamla Prasad Bisesa. I will tell you stories of persons coming from all over Trinidad and Tobago to my office. MP Barry will tell you the same as he shadows gender affairs, and he will tell you of parents coming and crying because they cannot access grants. I could tell you that. But I am telling you, it's not that young stush. That is his personality. Young and the old raging bull are the same. Their personalities are the same. We cannot talk to them, but you could talk to Kamla. So Trinidad and Tobago, don't make the mistake and put back these clowns. Is the same clowns, same circus. They're trying to pull a fast one, but it's time that we remove this PNM government. So when you stush, it's time we throw them in the bush and a Calypsonian song that. These same clowns, these circus players, they have failed us time and time again. Debbie, am I lying? I find a little quiet enough because I have to be lying. Just a couple of months ago, my constituency, we were rocked by the brutal murder of a father and a daughter. And I could tell you nothing has changed. Families are grieving, and yet this government is doing nothing. They send no resources, no additional patrols, no support to families affected, no compassion. The PNM government is a compassionless government. UNC family, when UNC win, everybody wins. And they all must go. If you want compassion, vote Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Under the UNC government, we will open facilities that they failed to open. And I want to point in the direction of that university that was built. In my constituency, I want to go back to the roadway because there is a landslip that is threatening a public servant home. And I have to tell this story here tonight. This man has lost, Mr. Padarath has lost 3 homes, and he's on the verge of losing another, and this is in Padarath Road. And this man is a member of the regiment. From my office, I would have taken the time and written letters to every government official that I felt could have done something to help Mr. Padarath. And no response to date. David, this man is on the verge of losing another home. He lost his 2-story concrete structure. His mother gave him her wooden structure that went down in the landslip. He moved into his parents' home, and that is going down the landslip because of a water leak. And no one is hearing the plight of Mr. Padarath. So I want to beg government officials here tonight to hear that man cry. That man and his family, they are going through something that is beyond depression. When that wife speaks, you would not like to hear how she talks. And I am begging, if anything should happen to that family tonight, again, it's on the head of this government. With that being said, I have to talk about roads of like John Lendo, Madingo, I will say the whole of Tableland right now, the Naparima Road. These roads are plagued with landslips, and this government is not doing anything. Debe, it's time we send this government packing, and you have to agree with me here tonight. It is time that we send this Rowley government packing. Because when we thought that this government was going to come with solutions, that this government will come with jobs, create jobs for our youths, this government will foster community spirit and bring policies, and they will tend to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This government always trying to pull a fast one. And I want to tell you, if we should take God of our thought and put back this government, they have already put WASA on notice. They have put pensioners on notice, because the same man that said he's not closing down Petrotrin is the same man that he wants to say a public servant put in a clause to make the pension a grant. WASA, we know that they have intention to close down or to privatize. We have to get rid of this government. As I told you, my mission here tonight is good behavior and nothing. This government have to go. David, let me hear you. Rowley and his anointed one have to go. Rowley said what Rowley said? Rowley said he's waiting for CARICOM because it have one last meeting. When I heard that, it's like this man want a class party before he exit. But I sure CARICOM officials don't want to see Rowley. CARICOM officials used to find joy to see Kamla because they will get something from Kamla. Who wants to see Rowley? This man wants a glorified class party. You know, when a teacher resigning and you keep a little session, this man wants a session. But we telling him, go now. It's time for him to go. So David, that is my duty here tonight. And I want to take the opportunity, as my brother Alibocus would have done. And I want to thank my activists. I want to thank my political leader for having faith in me. Because when she stood up to defend me against that raging bull, he stood up there yesterday and he said, hear him, where you from? Where you from? And I'm not going to repeat the terms because he wanted to race bait. But I am not going to race bait Rowley. I don't wait for election to know my hair turn up. I don't wait for election to know the complexion of my skin. I don't wait for election to know that the coat of arms, and it would be nice to see the steel pan on it. We all love the steel pan. Who love the steel pan more than Mr. Kanhai, our General Secretary? If you stand up next to that man, you will get a story about the steel pan. And that is a man that loves the steel pan. But what we are dealing with is Rowley, who is fearful about his legacy. And because he's fearful about his legacy, he wants to create things. He wants to sign off on bills because he is the most hated Prime Minister in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. David, tell me a lie. When you think about Rowley, you think about hardship. You think about tightening your belt. My pants so slack, I had to pull it up about 10 times tonight. That is what you think about when you think about Rowley. When you think about Rowley and you go through the places like the Mang, and these are their strongholds in my area, you think about depression. This man has done nothing for his people. So I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago, if you couldn't walk to Rowley and say, you know my flower bucket empty, you think you could go? You could go by Stuart. But I want to tell you, you can't go by Stuarty. Murga table, and if your flower bucket empty, you can't go by Stuarty. Single mothers, if you can't buy milk. These are not persons that understand the cry of the simple man. Kamla Prasad Bisesa understands the cry of the simple man. Michelle Benjamin understands the cry of the simple and average man. And we know that the economy has to boost for everyone to do good. So tonight, Debe, we are on election footing, and we are saying, bye-bye Rowley, and your anointed one, well I should say Emperor Rowley, because we're not in a democratic society, you know. We dealing with kings and queens that are appointed. So, Debe High, bye-bye Rowley, and we are endorsing our next Prime Minister that will be an elected one, Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
Lucky for you, my friend. I in a good spirit. I think in a good spirit. The vibes right up to the limits.
Come on, David, people, you can do better. Put your hands together. Let's hear, David. Let's send the message. Election is in the air. Time to vote them out. All must go. I want to acknowledge our General Secretary here tonight, Mr. Peter Kanhai, MP Rishi Sicharan from Karani East. Welcome, MP. Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal Ramdial. MP for Faizabad, Dr. Lakram Bodo. MP Anil Ram, Karani Central. MP Rudy and Singh, Kuva South. And all the Penal Debe councillors, where are you? Let me hear you. All Siparia regional councillors and all who are here in this pavement report, welcome, welcome. Election is in the air. Saddam Hussein is an attorney at law with experience in both criminal and civil law. He earned his Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill, Barbados, where he served as president of the Trinidad and Tobago Student Association. After returning to Trinidad, he completed his legal education certificate at Hugh Wooden Law School, graduating on Principal's Roll of Honor and winning the Justice Wendell Kangaloo Advocacy Award. During his time at the law school, MP Saddam represented Trinidad and Tobago as a prosecutor in New York and won the award for Best Prosecution Brief. He was coached by the late Dana Sitahal, senior counsel, and completed his in-service training at her chambers. Additionally, MP Saddam has served as an opposition senator for 3 years and is currently the youngest member of parliament in the 12th Republic Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago for Barataria San Juan. He is also the candidate for the upcoming 2025 general elections, contesting again the seat of Barataria San Juan. Let's put our hands together and welcome the young and vibrant Member of Parliament for Barataria San Juan, MP Saddam Hussein.
Thank you very much, Shanti. UNC family. UNC family. The beautiful people of Debe, thank you for welcoming me in the constituency of Oropuch East, better known as the Den of the Lion. The Lion of Oropuch East, the Honorable Dr. Roodal Moonilal. I want to acknowledge the presence of my parliamentary colleagues, both in the upper and lower house, members of the local government fraternity. I also see our activist constituency executive. If you stand where I am right now, this is a packed hall right here at Debe High School on a Tuesday evening. A packed hall. I was sitting next to Dr. Moonilal and I said, Debe have some really big pavements. This is one of the biggest pavement reports we have had in the United National Congress. And your presence here tonight signals that you are ready. You are ready to get rid of Stuart Young. You are ready to get rid of Keith Rowley. You are ready to get rid of all of them. All of them must go. It could be 11, it could be 9. All of them must go. The United National Congress is poised. We are ready. We are a well-oiled machine to take on General Election 2025 and return the great party of the UNC to the corridors of power and install a Prime Minister none other than the Honorable Kamla Persad Bissessa of Senior Council as the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Yesterday, my brothers and sisters, we were summoned to the Parliament to discuss a very important matter, and it had to deal with what has been proclaimed or declared in Trinidad and Tobago on the 30th of December 2024, which is a state of public emergency. And yesterday the Parliament was summoned to discuss the statement of Her Excellency with respect to the proclamation of the state of emergency and the extension of the state of emergency for a further 3 months or 90 days. And the government came to that debate and they could not give us a cogent piece of compelling evidence that would suggest that they required a state of emergency for the next 3 months. They did not tell us of the successes of the state of emergency. Today, we know through the media that on All Year's night, Randall Hector, an attorney at law, leaving church, was gunned down. A couple days ago, a colleague of mine and a dear friend, Miss Kumari Bakshan, her husband, another attorney at law, was killed in their Komoto home, gagged, murdered, brutally murdered. And that is the success of the state of emergency. We in the United National Congress indicated through the opposition leader who spoke 3 times yesterday on both debates and then on the national emblems debate. What is the relevance? What is the success of the state of emergency? Rowley get up, he say, well, if we didn't have the state of emergency, we may have had more murders. How Rowley know that? How Rowley know that? Today, we are afraid to come out of our homes because of the crime situation. He tells us, he says, he know that it have police officer lock up in police station in the night, taking off the light because they're afraid to go outside and fight crime. We put Erla Christopher there. It is Rowley. Rowley used his majority in the Parliament to appoint Erla Christopher. And then he gave her a 1-year extension last year to this year. Rowley is responsible, directly responsible for what is taking place with the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago. So don't let Rowley come and fool you and tell you, well, look, we try to have a state of emergency to help deal with the crime situation. Kamla Persad Bissessa called for the state of emergency in January last year. And he said, you know what? That won't work. In 2011, when we had a state of emergency, he chastised the former government. He said, we are wasting time. We have enough laws on the books to deal with crime. Well, tonight I will go through some of those laws with you. But this state of emergency is a complete waste of time. It is not helping the crime situation. Everyone is still afraid. We are apprehensive. Businessmen are afraid because the crime situation is still unabated. Now, I want to tell you that under the regulations with respect to the crime situation, they have proclaimed several pieces of legislation through the president's hand. But this is not the president doing this. This is Rowley and the cabinet and Stuart Young telling the president what to sign off on. So don't get fooled and think Mrs. Christine Kangaloo doing this on her own. It is Rowley and Stuart Young instructing her what to do. Now, it have a regulation called Regulation 3, and I spoke of this yesterday in the debate. It deals with the state of emergency regulations, making it a criminal offense that if someone has firearms, they have ammunition, they have explosives, that they will be charged under the state of emergency under those laws. Do you know that that law is already existing on the book without a state of emergency? Under Section 6 of the Firearms Act, it is already illegal to be in possession of a firearm, ammunition without a permit. In fact, under the state of emergency, if you are fined or you are charged, prosecuted, the offense and the fine is $100,000 and imprisonment for 5 years. If you are charged with, under the Firearms Act, the first offense is $500,000 or 15 years in prison. So there are much more stiffer penalties, harsher penalties under the existing law rather than the emergency law. Now I raised this point yesterday in the Parliament. Stuart Young, the next Prime Minister, get up after me. He says, Saddam, I know what he's talking about. He says, Saddam don't know what he's saying about the emergency regulations. Well, today in the Guardian, the Trinidad Guardian, there's an article and it reads, Magistrate asked cop why man was charged under SOE. He says the regular laws carry stiffer penalty. So what me and the acting chief magistrate wrong and Stuart Young correct? Stuart Young, you probably collect your senior counsel silk in a cellophane bag. That is what you do. When I was in the law school, I graduated on the principal rules of honor. And I don't need silk to tell you that the state of emergency laws is a waste of time. They already existing on the books. The acting chief magistrate came out in open court and said, look, this thing is already a law. Why are you charging people under the state of emergency? Charge them under the Firearms Act. The penalties are stiffer. They are harsher. If you're really serious about this crime situation, the government, what they need to do is call the election now because they have lost we have lost all confidence in them. Call the elections now. They have given up. Could you imagine they declared a state of emergency on the 30th of December? They go on with the bikini and swim trunks in Tobago, swimming. They must study in no state of emergency. And when they reached there, it had a big fight. Who go be the leader? They wasn't thinking about criminal. They wasn't thinking about 6, 7, 8, 9 gang. They were thinking about who will be the next leader after Rowley resigned. They did not care about your safety. They did not care about that. They cared about themselves. And we must tell them that the UNC cares about the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So it could be Stuart Young, it could be Keith Rowley, it's the same circus and the same clowns that we're dealing with. And you must vote all those clowns out of office. We must vote them out. We also in this country have very, very harsh laws, very invasive laws when it comes to intelligence gathering. You are telling me that on Olia's night, that attorney at law, Mr. Hector, was gunned down, and the intelligence agencies, the SSA, did not have intelligence to inform law enforcement that there's a hit on this man's life? When the president brought a statement to the Parliament, we were told that a gang leader, alleged gang leader, was almost gunned down outside the Bessemer Street police station. Are you telling us that there was not an intelligence hit to inform law enforcement that this was in fact going to happen? You know what they were doing with the SSA? They were using the SSA as a political weapon to spy on their political opponents. That is what they were doing. They don't want to know which criminal going after which attorney or which criminal going after which criminal. You know what they wanted to know? They wanted to know if Mrs. Moonilal calling Dr. Moonilal to buy whole wheat bread or white bread. That is what they were doing. They were tapping the cell phones of political opponents. Their business is not about fighting crime. They want to know where our next meeting is. They want to know where we're going to lime. They are not in the business of governance in Trinidad and Tobago, and we must reject them and we must vote them out. We must vote them out. We must vote them out. There's another issue that I wish to raise while I'm on this matter of the leadership of the country. I don't care about what the PNM Constitution says. That is none of my business. I have no business with that. My business is with the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And whatever a political party does has direct implications on the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. So when they decide to play the fool in Balize House and play soap opera, Bold and Beautiful and Young and Restless, they must understand that there are serious implications with respect to the Constitution. Because Section 76 of the Constitution speaks about the appointment of a Prime Minister. And this section deals with the President having to be convinced of the person who commands the majority of the House of Representatives will be appointed as the Prime Minister. But the Constitution does not only say it has to be the man who commands the majority. This is what it says. The Constitution acknowledges the political leader of the party that wins the majority of seats in the House will be appointed as the Prime Minister. It is clear. It says, the President shall appoint as Prime Minister a member in the House of Representatives who is the leader in that House of the party which commands the support of the majority of members of that House. So the first port of call the President will look at is who is the political leader that won the general election. That person will be the Prime Minister of the country. And if there's no undisputed leader, they will now go to see who has the majority. But what the PNM has now done is probably turning this country into a constitutional crisis. Because now, what they have done is going to appoint a man who is not the political leader of the PNM as the Prime Minister, and Rowley will continue to be the political leader of the PNM. So there must be a clear directive of what they are doing, because it may affect Section 76 of the Constitution. I saw Senior Counsel Martin Daly also raise this issue in the Trinidad Express on Sunday, calling the article, I believe, the awkwardness of the President. So those are very serious matters of what happens in Balize House could have national implication to Trinidad and Tobago and its governance. And then yesterday, Rowley says, in this state of emergency, again, they're only thinking about what Balize House business in the Red House. He said that the criminals have killing machines, they have automatic rifles. All you know that we just manufactured in Trinidad? They had no gun factory in Trinidad. Those things come through the illegal ports of entry. He spoke of killing machines. I am reliably told that the port of Point Lisas in the last 3 years did not have operational scanners. You have no proper boats manning the Coast Guard, the coast of Trinidad and Tobago. You have the intelligence agencies collapse, and that is all what is contributing to this runaway crime situation and the criminals having high-powered rifles and automatic firearms in their possession. And these are serious issues that we raise on this platform. I am also told that there are issues with the TTRA and the duplication of resources and also confusion with the workers after that Privy Council judgment. So today, my brothers and sisters, we have lost faith, we have lost confidence in this PNM government. Be it Young, be it Rowley, we want them out. We want them all out. We want them all out. My brothers and sisters, we on the United National Congress, we have the plan. We have the policies. We have indicated that when we get back in power, we will make sure that gun ownership becomes easier for those who deserve it. You must be able to stand your ground against the criminals. Rowley and his cabinet, they are protecting the criminals. We will ensure that we put the criminals behind bars if you elect us as the next United National Congress government. Look, I went back into history. This is a CNC3 article dated the 7th of January 2014. And the article reads, this is when Rowley was opposition leader. In the 7 p.m. news, breaking news, the People's National Movement says it has an overnight plan to fix the police service and crime on a whole. 7th of January 2014. You know how much night passed after that? Today they are recording over 5,000 murders in Trinidad and Tobago. 5,000 murders. We must get these people out if you want to feel safe again. You must get these people out if you want to feel safe again. So my brothers and sisters, I thank you all for this show of support here for the United National Congress. You are ready. We are ready. Let us get rid of Stuart Young, Keith Rowley, and all of them. All must go, and I thank you very much.
Let's hear it for the Member of Parliament, Saddam Hussein, who executes with such legal precision that all of the opponents of the UNC are running. Brothers and sisters, we are at the pavement report of the United National Congress. We are in Debe. We are at the Debe Secondary School in the constituency of Oropuch East, also known as the Lion's Den. And in the front row here, I see Member of Parliament for Couva South, MP Rudy Indar Singh, and a large entourage of members that he has come with. Also with us is the next Member of Parliament for San Fernando West, Dr. Dowlat. Let us hear it for these front row members here. And let us hear it for all of the people that has come from far and wide to be part of this UNC Pavement report. As our dear MP Saddam spoke of, UNC has the plans. It is the UNC that has paved every road in this region. It is UNC that has ensured that every citizen has water. And I will reveal something to you. The reason why roads are in the state that it is in is because the secondary roads company has been set up by the PNM, and the local government practitioners, the councillors, have been told to send names and all of the roads will be repaired and paved. And 1 year after, and $62 million later, the secondary roads company was closed down. That is not all. The budget for 2023-2024 gave an allocation to the corporations. And after the confirmation of funds was received and the council went ahead and completed those projects, the corporations have been betrayed. At September 30th, when the financial year closed, the monies for those projects were not paid. What is the impact to you, the people, for which the UNC cares and is concerned about? It means that this financial year, 2024-2025, you will have no projects. And in this region, it is a flood-prone region. That could tell you the scare and the horrors that we face in terms of this PNM governance and its trickery. UNC family, let me just make some noise for all of the people who have come here today. In the language of the artists, we are on the inside and the house is full. And on the outside, the house is full. Let's make some noise. UNC Pavement report in the constituency of Oropouche East, the Lion's Den. The next speaker is no stranger to us. Barry Padarath. He holds a bachelor's degree in government and international relations. He holds a postgraduate degree in communications from the Atlantic College in Wales and a diploma in law from the University of London. Need I say any more of the capability of this MP? I will continue. He has a distinguished career in foreign service of Trinidad and Tobago and has served as a diplomatic officer and deputy head of ceremonial. His extensive academic qualifications and his professional experience makes him a notable figure in the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago. Would you agree with me? Nice. He is also known as the Peppermouth because anybody who opposes the UNC, he just burned them. Let us welcome the Member of Parliament for Princess-Tong, Barry Padarath.
Political leader of the United National Congress, who is viewing us this evening, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the best Prime Minister and the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Our colleagues in the House, in the den here this evening, our host, Member of Parliament. We heard him roar in the Parliament and we will hear him roar right here in Oropouche East, Dr. Roodal Moonilal. Our parliamentary colleagues joining us this evening, I see several of them. The MP for Couva South, MP Rudy Indar Singh, neighboring MP Dr. Lakram Bodo, MP Dr. Rashad Sicharan, my brother MP Arnold Ram. I see the chairman of our party as well, neighboring MP Dave Tanku. Several of our senators here this evening with us. Joining us is our dear sister, Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal. Several of our candidates in the next general election. I see Richard Smith taking home the seat of Aruka Maloney from the lady herself, Camille Robinson-Regis, taking the seat of San Fernando West, none other than the educator, the man who brought Education City to the city of San Fernando, Dr. Michael Dowlatt. Dr. Dowlatt, our young, hard-working entrepreneur brother who took the Marabella South seat for the very first time for the United National Congress. Give it up for Macmillan, John Michael Alibocus. Brothers and sisters, so many of you I see from the local government fraternity here this evening. It will be remiss of me if I do not recognize the mayor of Faizabad, the indomitable, the outspoken, Dudnath Meru. Mayor, are you here with us? I saw also the chairman of the Princestown Regional Corporation, the hardworking, the effervescent Gauri Rupnarayan, and I take the opportunity to also recognize my own constituents joining us from the constituency of Princestown. I thank you for joining us this evening on the pavement. And we cannot forget the young, the industrious Mayor of Shagwanas, Mayor Faik Mohammed. May I take a bow for the hard work you're doing in the borough of Shagwanas. Many of our brothers and sisters in the local government fraternity, we pay our respects. Brothers and sisters of the United National Congress all. That was a very extensive list. But it goes to show that we appreciate you and we appreciate your efforts. Because as Saddam has told you tonight, tonight's crowd is a mammoth crowd. It is one of the largest pavement reports we have had. And this signals the strength of the United National Congress going into the general election of 2025. The 19 members of Parliament of the United National Congress. We found ourselves in the Parliament from 1:30 yesterday to about 11 o'clock last night. And leading the charge from the front was a political leader, speaking first on the presidential statement regarding the state of emergency. She then spoke on the regulations for the state of emergency. And then at about 10:30 last night, standing up in the Parliament, battling the Rottweiler, the raging bull himself, was none other than Kamla Persad-Bissessar for a third time, demonstrating her commitment to fighting and standing in the gap for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Tonight, I can tell you safely, we in the UNC don't have to ask nobody who is our leader. We know damn well who is our leader. Our leader comes from no other constituency, and don't let anybody fool you. Our leader comes from the neighboring constituency of Separia. Separia, are you here tonight? Brothers and sisters, the representation that we saw yesterday in the Parliament is nothing new to us. The political leader demonstrated her strength, she demonstrated her tenacity, and she demonstrated her wisdom in terms of being able to point out the fundamental differences as it relates to what is our position with respect to the state of emergency and extending the state of emergency powers that the government took upon themselves yesterday for an additional 3 months. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, our choice is very clear. In this election, we, the UNC, our political leader, our members of Parliament, our senators, our party officials, what do we represent? What do we represent to the people and the population of Trinidad and Tobago going into this general election? We represent stability, we represent experience, and we represent competence. We are not the young and the useless. We are the United National Congress. And when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Now, the government started off this year, 2025, with distraction. They have been reeling, and let us draw minds back to what occurred in December of 2024. It was after from the runaway crime, from the economy being in shambles. Tonight I want to deal with issues, and one has to do with the pension bill. Now the political leader told you one of the clauses in that pension bill says that if you had $25,000 or more, you will be disqualified and they will take away pension from you. But there's another clause in that pension bill that I want to draw to your attention. And it is clause 14. Clause 14 in the pension bill says that they will monitor your travel arrangements if you are out of the country. But that threw my mind back to when they came with the amendment to the Data Protection Act in 2022, Jayanti. I see Jayanti smiling because she remembers it. The opposition in the Senate raised at that time that in the Data Protection Act, they were cherry picking which sections they wanted to proclaim. And the opposition, again standing in the gap for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, said you could not select parts of the act that gives you the power to go into immigration from the Ministry of Social Development to get people's travel records to see how long they were out of the country, where they were going, and macroing their business. Well, with their simple majority, the government proclaimed at the end of 2022 parts of the Data Protection Act that today, when you read clause 14 of the pension bill, and listen, the political leader told them in the parliament yesterday, ahead of the parliament, she told them, withdraw the bill. Do you know that the bill remains on the order paper? As it stands right now, the bill is on the order paper. So that tells you that they have no intention. The AG jumped out of his hole 7. He told us he will be withdrawing the bill. Up to today, the bill remains on the order paper. They have not removed the bill from the order paper. And that is why we can tell you that's not armor, that is lie more. Lies, lies, and more lies. And that is why we draw to your attention, brothers and sisters, what you can expect going into the last few months of this government being in office. The second issue that I want to raise with you this evening has to do with the timing. The timing of Prime Minister Rowley's announcement of his impending departure. Now, he came in January, the first week, and he told us he's going. Then when pressed by the media in terms of asking for a timeline, he said, well, he had a CARICOM meeting in February. And when he come back from CARICOM, you all remember there was something called the Salary Reviews Commission report that the government accepted in December. You all remember that? When Rowley gave himself $87,000. When in the last pavement report, you know, I spoke in the last pavement report in 2024. I dared the government and I dared our own members of parliament, because I could talk for 14. I don't know where the next 5 was going. But I will repeat to you what I said in the last pavement report of 2024. I told the Prime Minister, I said, go back. Bring the report to the Parliament and allow all 41 members of Parliament to debate the report. Let all 41 members stand up in the Parliament in front of the people of Trinidad and Tobago and say, what is your position? Whether or not you want the back pay, you want the salary increase, or you don't want it. Well, what was the government's response? Rowley came and he said, well, listen,
We are not bringing no report to be debated to the Parliament. Instead, the Minister of Finance will issue a circular. He will issue a circular, and that is how they will bring into effect the $87,000 a month salary for the Prime Minister. Now, I want to tell you this. Whether or not Stuart Young serves 1 day, 2 days, 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months as Prime Minister of this country, how it works is that he will receive $87,000 a month for the rest of his life. Because what happens is that your pension as a Prime Minister does not start like members of Parliament when you are 55 years old. It starts automatically when you demit the office of Prime Minister. I want you all to understand that very clearly. At any age, once you demit the office of Prime Minister, you are entitled to the $87,000 a month. And Stuart Young, if he serves 1 day or 6 months, he will be entitled to that. Now you might ask yourself, where are you going with all of this? I told you about the timing of the Prime Minister's announcement. I want to ask the Prime Minister from this platform tonight whether or not it is true that the administrative arrangements have not been made because there's a process to be followed, and that the administrative arrangements will only be completed at the end of February. At the end of February, for the Prime Minister and the government to receive the new salary of $87,000 a month. And that is why you're hemming and you're hawing from exiting the office of Prime Minister. Come out and tell us that it is no trip to Barbados to meet Mia Motley. Instead, it is your own selfish greed that you are seeking your own personal interest. And that is why he's giving himself the leeway, the time of December gone. He holding on in January. He waiting for February because he knows at the end of February, the administrative arrangements will be completed. And that is when the new salary will come into effect. And he is only going to demit office when he could pocket that $87,000 riding the back of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, Saddam told you, Michel told you, Maka told you, that it is not Rowley, it is all must go. Tonight I want to point out one person in this audience. One. Somebody who could tell you, not as a politician, but who can tell you as a wife and a mother, the pain, the heartache, the turmoil that Stuart Young put her through and put her family through by keeping her husband in a pipeline for 4 days. And that is none other than our own counselor, Vanessa Kusi. Vanessa stands here with her 5-year-old who asks every single day, when is daddy coming home? Not knowing where she's going to be able to buy books for her child to go to school. That pain and that heartache never goes away. And Vanessa can tell you, when she stood in that boardroom, the callousness, the hate, the spite that was meted out to her and the 5 other families who endured that pain and suffering. So don't take it from me. Don't take it from our political leader. You have a living example in our own party. And tonight, I want us to put our hands together and congratulate the political leader of the UNC for seeing the wisdom of putting a woman like Vanessa Kusi and the local government fraternity to stand up and speak on behalf of mothers, to stand up and speak on behalf of families who have lost their loved ones. Not a corporate manslaughter, that is murder. That is murder. And nobody could tell me in this country with a clear conscience that you can go and put Stuart Young as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. We must never forget in this country when the Speaker of the House of Representatives puts on the parliamentary record on the Hansard the most disdainful description of a member of parliament for talking about Zami. Stuart Zami Young must never be allowed to be the Prime Minister of this country. And when he goes up, when Rowley coronates him and anoints him, and Christine Kangaloo goes and gives him the Bible to swear on, the country must have in their mind that you have a mother, you have a daughter, you have a wife, you have an aunt, you have a political leader who is a woman, the first woman prime minister in this country. That when he stands up and he says, I, Stuart Young, in your mind, he shouldn't say, I, Stuart Richard Young. He should say, I, Stuart Zami Young. Because that is what the children from infants to the grannies in this country will remember. And brothers and sisters, they have taken bread out of the mouths of the people of this country. They have overseen the bloodshed of over 5,000 citizens. But is this the example of someone that you want for your children, for your daughters? We can stand proud in this party and say we have given to this country the first female Attorney General. With distinction, we have given to this country the first female Prime Minister with distinction. What have they given? What are they giving to the people, to the women of this country? They are giving the most disrespectful, intolerable, disdainful man who will ever hold the office. You know, they used to say Chambers was Doncy. This one just simply dirty and nasty. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, we are on our way to victory. We have told you, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Tonight, I can tell you with certainty that we will form the government in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We have the people, we have the plan, we have the policy, we have the political leader, and we have the political will to make the changes that are necessary to bring about the change that is most needed in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Long live the United National Congress. Long live our political leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Forward ever, backward never. Forward ever, backward never. I thank you.
Come on, you can do better than that, David. Nobody can do it better than Peppermouth Barry Padarath. Stability, experience, competence. That is what the UNC is all about. But Mr. Rohan Sinanan, why is it 3 years later, construction projects within the penal levy are still outstanding? What about the progress of the Papari Road Bridge and the new Colonial Bridge? Our roads are in terrible state, potholes everywhere. Is it mismanagement? Is it poor engineering? Is it corruption? You boast the PNM has discipline, but true to form, that is a lie. Trinidad and Tobago, the nation continues to suffer under this wicked, rowdy, Stuart-led government. It's time to vote them out. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. All must go. As I introduce your next speaker, he is no stranger to you, all here in the Oropouche East constituency. Dr. Roodal Moonilal, put your hands together, is a distinguished academic, a researcher, a politician with a career spanning decades in public service and industrial relations, holding a PhD in development studies with a distinction from the Institute of Social Studies in Holland. He has specialized in labor relations, industrialization, and governance. A former Minister of Housing and Urban Development from 2010 to 2015, Dr. Moonilal also served as leader of government business and played a key role in modernizing parliamentary procedures. As a dedicated member of Parliament and a former chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, he remains a powerful voice in politics in Trinidad and Tobago. Beyond politics, Dr. Moonilal is a respected lecturer, published researcher, and advocate for workers' rights across the Caribbean, a dynamic speaker and strategist. He stands committed to the vision and leadership of the United National Congress, working tirelessly for the progress of Trinidad and Tobago. Please welcome your Member of Parliament for the constituency of Oropouche East, the Roaring Lion, the Honorable Dr. Roodal Moonilal.
Because what don't kill you should make you stronger. So my problems is like steroids, boy. I get my doses from all kinds of sources. I don't know them things that kill me now. You see, I can fix me up
Thank you. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Thank you very much, Sister Shanti Budram and Brother Gowtam Maharaj, chairpersons of this evening's proceedings. A very warm welcome to the Lion's Den on a very big pavement in Oropouche East. Good night, good evening to the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa and members of her family listening to our program this evening, following with great enthusiasm and support and best wishes. Good evening to all assembled at this meeting, and we have hundreds and hundreds. It is a sea of blue and yellow before us. Good evening and welcome to all my parliamentary colleagues. Good evening, welcome to the Mayor, I believe, of Siparia, the Mayor of Chaguanas, members of the local government fraternity. Welcome to our international viewers and supporters. We are now live in Florida, in New York, in Canada, in Europe, on several social media platforms and television, of course, in Trinidad and Tobago and abroad. Special welcome to our great brother in Canada, Mr. Norbert Sukram and his family, who are tuning every single week to every single UNC meeting. I want to welcome as well my sister from Canada is here. Welcome to Sindra Mohammed and her husband Fazan are here visiting and in a UNC meeting, I believe, for many years. They haven't been here for many years and certainly not to a UNC meeting, so I want to welcome them warmly. Brothers and my own brother, of course, Michael, who is more familiar to many of you. We can report now that we have online viewing this meeting, 4,000 live views online. So it is a more successful pavement report. And brothers and sisters, I want to acknowledge the speakers who came before us. Give a warm, warm round of applause to the next Member of Parliament for San Fernando East, Mr. John Alibocus, Maka. And I want to tell him I fought San Fernando East. We came close, but you will not come close. You will defeat that young man in San Fernando East. The next Member of Parliament for the constituency of San Fernando West, the Honorable Dr. Dowlat, Michael Dowlat is here. Give him a round of applause. Mr. Richard Smith, and that constituency is where there's somebody loitering there now. Is it the WPC? Camille Robinson Regis, we want her out of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. And Richard Smith will do that. We have other candidates, of course, appointed as candidates of the UNC already. Mr. Devish Maharaj, Mr. Wayne Sturge working very hard. A sister, Dr. Maharaj, I believe, in Lopino Bonnet, is it? Appointed. Brothers and sisters, we have several more candidates that will find their way very soon as we continue the screening process. So we are very confident. As Brother Saddam Hussein spoke to you after, I want you to welcome Saddam Hussein to Debe. The brilliant Saddam Hussein gave you a lecture in law and politics this evening, and he has emerged as one of the most fiery and bright and eloquent speakers in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. Our warrior princess spoke earlier, Michelle Benjamin, a social activist and dynamic woman. And of course, I complain every time they do this, I complain, but nobody will listen to me because it is very difficult, it is getting very difficult now to speak after that firebrand. To speak after the Member of Parliament for Princess Tong, the Honorable Barry Padarath. But we have to speak, we can't give up. So brothers and sisters, we have had a great platform this evening. This is what the pavement report was meant to be. Fire, fire, heat and fire. Against Rowley, against Stuart Young, against all of them because they are one and the same. Don't forget Stuart Young, Rowley, Dial Singh, Hines, all of them, all. They are the ones that took the decisions that caused suffering to the people for 9 continuous years. It was not Rowley alone. It is Stuart Young. Stuart Young, as Saddam suggested, Stuart Young is Rowley mini-me. That is he mini-me. It is in the likeness and image of that leader. Stuart Young is the mini-me. I don't know about the Zombie business and so on too much. But I know about the mini-me. He's the mini-me, brothers and sisters. And Barry is right. He is the image of the leader. Crass, without decorum, protocol, without brought-up-see, to use that term, brothers and sisters. That is why Rowley has seen something in him. He sees himself in Stuart Young and has imposed them on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And Barry told you, I won't repeat at length that business. If he becomes Prime Minister, we will kick him out. But he will end up being kicked out. He may be sitting in the opposition if he wins a seat. He could be sitting in the opposition as an MP with a monthly income of a pension of 87,000 TT dollars. But let me give one even more ugly. Well, I shouldn't say ugly. Let me keep my letter. Even more disturbing. Would you believe every time you travel in Piaco International Airport, you going through the atrium there, this big wrong place, and you have to see Stuart Young picture every time you're leaving? Some of you might leave and don't come back. They have all the former prime ministers there. That fella picture could be there for the rest of your children's life. So it is more disturbing as that. And in other places, government, state institutions and so on, brothers and sisters. But the point here is that they went to Tobago and say, who want to be prime minister? Raise your hand. And 2 people raised their hand. That was narrow. Stuart Young win by some hand or pulling straw or some cup or something like that. You don't elect prime ministers like that. A prime minister must be elected by the people. He or she must represent the will of the people. Not in a back room in Tobago by raising hand and pulling straw. The people must appoint you. If Rowley had a decorum of decency, a commitment to democracy and the rule of law, he will say, well, I done. Let's go to the polls. And whoever the people choose, they choose. Correct? But he wants $87,000 and he wants Stuart Young to get $87,000 too. So their plan, there's a day in the carnival season, only know a day called Fantastic Friday. They want on Fantastic Friday, 2 of them end up in the pocket with $87,000 the end of February. and they will ride off from government. We will have the responsibility of fixing and repairing this country, while the taxpayer, you, get them $87,000 each per month for the rest of their lives. That is where we have reached. That is the problem. Because the government has collapsed, brothers and sisters. They have collapsed in office. Today, I tell you, which prime minister in the world, all you're following news and so on, which prime minister does declare a state of emergency on Monday and resign by Friday? He declared the state of emergency and he said, gone. Now he cussing the police. He's the leader of the government, you know. He said police taking off the light and hiding in police station. Did you see the newspaper a few hours ago? Earlier Christopher come and said that is not true. They're not taking off the light and hiding. If they take off the light, it's a better see outside. That is where we have reached. But it is Rowley, it is Stuart Young. They are the ones who impose Earlier Christopher and all the deputy commissioners of police. Not me, not Kamla Prasad Bisasa, not the UNC. They put the management of the police and now crying police taking off the light. That is where we are. The government has collapsed in office, brothers and sisters. They don't know what they are doing. They call the state of emergency. I want to show you two headlines. You will see it on the live feed for those viewing. Monday headline, Hines say criminals on the run. Like Hines, you know. Monday. Tuesday, Rowley say cops hiding from criminals. Now I want to tell you something. The only person on the run is Hines. He running from water and Akash Samaru. That's who he running from. But they don't know what they are doing. One say criminal on the run, the next one say cops hiding from criminals. That, brothers and sisters, is the sorry state of this country when Rowley has abdicated his responsibility. This is a soap opera, an episode from a soap opera you are watching here. Every day is drama from the government, as if they could take attention away from the issues we are raising. Pension, poverty, unemployment, economic decline and collapse. Brothers and sisters, Rowley has given up. And some of you happy, I know, when he resigned the other day and he said he going, there was wild celebration. The people of Bebe say, that is the end of a gra. The gra end. I said it was the end of many eras, not the end of an era. So brothers and sisters, I know you were happy, but Stuart Young is Keith Rowley. So we are out of the woods yet, you know. Stuart Young is Keith Rowley. They are together, two of them, brothers and sisters. It is time to end the suffering. For 9 years, coming on 10, they dig out your eye. They take Takari from your leaf. For 9 years, now they switch leader and they say, okay, we refresh now. We're coming back fresh, new. Team, what team? PNM? They copy that from the UNC too. It's the UNC who campaigned with Team UNC, correct? The UNC had Team UNC. Now they want to say Team PNM. While they were fighting and cussing last week over which team they're supporting. Brothers and sisters, we cannot allow this to continue. I want to indicate to you that this country is crying out for change. This country is crying out for hope. This country is crying out for renewal. And there is only one political leader that understands the mood of this country, that understands the aspirations of the people, that identify with their pain, and that leader is Kamla Prasad Bisasa. Brothers and sisters, Mrs. Prasad Bisasa has the experience now, has the experience. She has the track record. When she served, she commanded men and women of great expertise and skill and competence, and she led the most progressive government in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And she will do it again. I want to tell you from the beginning, a vote for any other political party is a vote for the PNM. I want to remind some of you who are not as young as you look. In the year 2000, the Basdeo Pandey administration fell. In 2001. Do you know a fella up in Tonapuna? he got 189 votes. You remember that? And an entire government went with 189 votes. So think of that carefully. I will remind you, in St. Joseph, there was a by-election that brought in this Dr. Det. A candidate in that election got 500 votes. And Diyal Singh slipped in. And he never slipped out since. He slipped in. Think of that. A vote for any other political party except the UNC is a vote for the PNM. And keep that in your mind as we continue with our campaign, brothers and sisters. I want to remind you as well, before I come to a matter of the SOE, brothers and sisters, as we say on this platform, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Everyone, all in this society. Don't forget, while they are increasing their pension to $87,000, it was a UNC government that converted a grant to a pension and raised the pension for the elderly. Not once, but twice. To my knowledge, that pension has never been increased since we demitted office. It is Kamla Prasad Bisesa who raised the pension for the elderly, not once, but twice. Rowley raised the own